Okay, so welcome to OWCC 2023, day 4. If you can hear me from Zoom, if you can hear me from Tencent, please use the chat box and just let me know that you can hear me so that I know all is said and good. If you can hear me, just, okay, that's great. From Zoom, if you can hear me as well, just give a feedback. Zoom people. Okay. So we'll resolve the echo shortly. So let's move. Let's call on Noah, volunteer Noah, to give our welcome remark for today. Noah, are you there? Noah? Okay. If Noah is not there, Nakiri or Maliki. Noah Mason.
Yeah.
Nakiri, can you just do our welcome remark? Nakiri, are you there? Okay. It's like people are, today is another day. Let's get it going. So guys, wherever you are, welcome to today's edition. We ask that you feel free and share whatever you have in the chat box. There will also be time where we're going to give you to, we are not getting you, Nakili. If you're speaking, we are not getting you. So we're going to have time where we're going to entertain questions and answer from you guys. And Nakili is okay, we just proceed because of time and delay, so it's okay. Later on, we'll figure it out.
Orlando.
Yeah.
I don't know who WeChat is sounding in the background, man.
Okay. Let me check it out.
All right.
All right, thank you. So let me play this video. Let me play this video quickly, and then we can get started. Like here, if you're back, there's no need doing the introduction again. It's okay.
Okay.
Nakiri, you must change your phone here. You must change your phone.
Stop it. Not time to make noise.
DEA Innovative Tech, DIT, with the color representation of green, blue, and white. It was founded in 2018. It is our vision to use technologies to transform lives. There are lots of great minds out there, but the opportunities to learn and grow haven't been presented to them. DIT will use technology to provide career guidance, personal development, national transformation, tech events, and much more. DIT is operating on these 4 pillars, and impact. These pillars can be applied to individuals, groups, companies, nations, and society at large. Activities of DIT since its establishment have been 1. Personal development of the founder in terms of higher education and networking with great minds. 2. Producing educational videos about computer science or tech, networking, windowing, programming, IoTs, web development, etc. These videos are being uploaded to DIT various social media platforms like WeChat, Facebook, YouTube, etc. 3. Organizing special classes or tutorials for individuals among others. 4. Web development projects. 5. Conducting global webinars, which are done during the winter and summer seasons, and many others. The prospect of TIT is to establish a free online learning platform and technical schools throughout Africa and the world. The takeaway for the audience are: 1. Exposure to a certain domain, some might be in a state of dilemma. 2. Career or educational guidance. 3. Hands-on from the speakers, practical tips, tools. 4. Connections or networking with like-minded people within the industry. 5. Certification. 6. Future partnership. DIT is open to partnership for the betterment of humanity and society. We can only have a minimally criminal-free environment, job opportunities, small businesses, entrepreneurship, and a vastly growing economy when the minds of young people are geared toward finding solutions through the use of technology. Where there is a lack of creativity and innovation, the nation and its people are doomed to stagnation and economic hardship. So, join us at TIT as we develop, build, connect and impact.
Yeah, so Noah, I'll make you the co-host and you can just regulate the people there. So the system gave you the time and everything that somebody joined and how long the person stay on the meeting. And also we can be able to see other things. So let it just come up quickly and let's see what happened. Jerry, if you are there, just try to start getting ready. You'll be up shortly. So you can see here, the guy name was, I think, Joseph Bondo or something like that. So here you can see the time the person joined the meeting. This one, you can see the time the person entered the meeting and how many times the person joined and off and on, off and on, off and on. And the total number of time the person stayed throughout. So like, for example, yesterday, this person joined like one time and they just spent like 31 seconds and they left. This person stayed there for 1 hour and 3 minutes. That's a Prince 4. Because the meeting went for like 2 hours plus, right? So if you come down here, you see people like Abraham Davis. He had a, I think, connection problem off and on, off and on. So he spent like 2 hours, 27 minutes. You can see who else here? For example, people like Beatrix. Since she joined, she was not removed or she didn't have connection problem. She was just there. So she spent like 2 hours, 35 minutes. But there was a guy on the Zoom not the Zoom, the WhatsApp. Let me check for his name here. His name was Joseph. His name was Joseph Shama. Okay, that's him there. You can see Joseph here was totally off and on, like connection problem, like 21 times off and on. And Joseph spent 1 hour, 54 minutes, 50 seconds. And he even joined the program like 7:40. I don't even know if he's here now. But the program started at 7, but he joined 7:40, like 40 minutes late. But then he was like, oh, maybe why you didn't capture me and all of that. So these are some of the things that we get in the back end, but just to show you that we know what we are doing. So Jerry, if you are there, just send me a message in the chat box. So as well, volunteer every day. Thank you so much for your hard work. Today is the last day for speakers presentation. Tomorrow we start with the participant, and then we're going to call it an end. So we have already shared this information. I received 4-person CV already. So this is the last day for people to apply. So this, Simon Musa, your information is there. Don't worry, I saw it already. So this is the last day for people to apply for this internship thing. 4-person have already submitted a CV. So after today, we'll not be accepting any CV again. And we talked about our admission process yesterday. So if you're interested, you just visit this link, and then you're going to see all of the announcement, like for graduate program, bachelor program, and PhD program. And you can take it up from there. Everything you need to know about the program and the various tabs, everything is all in here. So just visit this URL and then you get it all from there. If they ask for any recommendation, you can use my information here in the right corner. If you still want me to get update on your application, you can email me your application number and then we can take it up from there. So we have had these speakers already. Today we're going to be having Phillips. I'll be speaking to us on web development, and Jerry will be speaking to us on app development. For the speakers, maybe hopefully by tomorrow, speakers will start to receive their certificates, and then we start processing the certificates for participant and volunteer by tomorrow as well. But you have to make sure you participate in a group project before you can receive the participant certificate. So I hope you guys are doing your project. This is the website for TIT. Visit titnetwork.org. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, please make sure you scan this QR code to join the WhatsApp group. Or you can take a picture of it now, and then later on you can join the group. There are all of the information or grouping things going on. For those in IoT group, I think you already have 4 or 5 persons already in one of the subgroup. So you guys, if many people are not ready, you can start with the 4 or 5 people, and you guys start to plan on how you're going to receive information on your PPT, do your own research on your own topic and stuff, and get going. If the team that are in networking already have group 1, group 2 was in route already, web development already have some other group. So if you guys are already set, just let me know after today's meeting so that I can get the order of presentation for the groups that are ready. So tomorrow we will be calling on the groups that are ready. If you are ready, just let us know. And then since we estimated that because the number of people that register, that's why we said 10 minutes per group, but it seems like we might not have many people participating in the group projects. So that means we're going to extend the time from 10 minutes probably to 15 or 20 minutes for each group presentation. Not the entire like cybersecurity group, but like a subgroup, group 1 of cybersecurity or networking, group 1 will have 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. So if you got 3 groups in networking, each of them will have like 15 or 20 minutes to present. Hope that is clear enough. The recordings are all on the Vera platform. You check the YouTube channel, the recording for the first, second, and third day have already been uploaded. The full recording, you can go back and watch it. The link is also on the Facebook page, plus other details you might need. They are all captured on the Facebook page as well. If you're not in the WhatsApp group and you are in, the WeChat group and you are in China, please scan this QR code and Laban will add you to the WeChat group. There you can receive some hambao and also see some people's stickers that Ramsey, Gideon, Gosson, and Sweet left for sharing. So we're going to be having our first speaker. Jerry, if you are there, just we're going to call volunteer Veronica Copper to introduce our speaker, and thereafter we're going to be hearing from Jerry. But there's some technical problem here, so I'm going to be sharing the PPT of Jerry from my end, and Jerry is going to be presenting from where he is because he has some travel issues and stuff, so he cannot join via Tencent. So we're going to be having something going on, but better still, you're going to get what you're supposed to get today. So Veronica, if you're there, just go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone. I'll be introducing our first speaker for today is a software developer, a mobile app designer, a web designer, or IT professional. Our first speaker is also a Google UX professional, metadata marketing associate. Our first speaker for today is known as Jerry Seazia. He will be speaking to us on app development. Mr. Jerry, you are welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's switch our pen down to what we have here. I'm coming. Let me just open up. Let me open up something here. See if I can get. But Jerry, if you're there, you can just unmute yourself. Let's see if we can hear you. Jerry, are you there? I can see you. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I can see you. I'm coming. Let me just share your slide. I'm coming.
Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Seazia, and today we are going to have a great time. Okay. So, well, I hope you are enjoying this program. Can everyone hear me loud and clearly? I want to make sure before I keep talking. Am I clear enough?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed the program enough. It's very much important if you guys can take the resources in. And today I'll talk about app development. So I hope you have your pens and papers, or you can take all of the necessary details that you can take in order to help you if you want to become an app developer, or if you just want to have a broad knowledge when it comes to the topic in general. So I'm Jerry Seazia. I'm an app developer. I'm a web developer. I aspire to become a software architect. So basically, I'm supposed to learn like everything about software engineering, software development. So mobile apps, web apps, whatever, like website, I should be able to like do everything. So that is my journey. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my experience, what I know, and what I think that can help you if you want to become a software developer, or app developer, or web designer, or whatever. So I hope my knowledge will be able to help you in the process. Partner, can you go to the next? So sorry, we have some technical difficulty. My Tencent meeting is not working. When I try, I can share my screen, nothing. So he have to be like sharing his slide for me. So I'm so sorry for that. So before we go into the topic, which is the app development or the software development in general, I want to give you some insights when it comes to what matter. It don't have to be app development or web development. Like when it comes to learning, what are things that you supposed to put into place? So you should be able to have the right mindset when it comes to learning. Whether you're going to learn marketing, entrepreneurship, or web development, app development, cybersecurity, or whatever. The first thing you need to have is the right mindset, because without that, you will not succeed in your journey. So first, you have to prepare your mind before going to actual learning process. And then today we'll talk about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So brief into brief detail. No, go back. Go back to the slide. I'm not done with that. Yeah. So let's take at least 10 minutes to talk about this topic, and then we'll go into like the details of app development. So
okay.
Before going to yeah.
There is a break in your connection, so I advise you just turn off the video. That way it's going to help with the latency and bandwidth. Yeah, you can just turn off the video so that it can help. Are you still there? Hello. Okay, stay here. Just we cannot hear you. The video is off, but just Anna, are you there? Okay, guys. So sorry for the other caller. Coming. Yeah, guys. So he'll be here shortly. There's a connection problem. He was in China here enjoying internet. He decided to go back Africa. So sorry for the connection problem.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. You have to come back, China.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. The network, the internet problem here is so, it's, I don't know how to describe this. Yeah. Can you reshare the screen?
We are sharing. I don't know. Can you see it? You still not seeing it? I know you there.
You can hear me? I just try to refresh my screen so I can see the screen. You can see it?
We can hear you. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So we were talking about growth mindset and fixed mindset. Whenever it comes to learning, whatever, like anything you want to learn, it's all about having a growth mindset. Fixed mindset is where we believe that certain things are not achievable. That we can't achieve certain things because we think we are not smart enough to do certain things. We're not up to the task to pursue certain measures, certain topics we're not good at it. Like for example, mathematics. We Librarians we always think that we are not good at math, so we think it's a good thing. So when it comes to learning, especially when it comes to software development or app development, you'll be dealing with programming languages. Okay, 1 minute. Oh, hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Hello?
ahead.
All right, sorry, the noise was in my background. So we have to have the positive mindset when it comes to learning. Software development is very complicated, especially when you start learning programming languages. First, when you start it, it becomes very much exciting, yeah. But you reach certain level, it becomes so much frustrating, you want to quit. So that's where you have to have a great, where you have the passion and the perseverance toward your goal. So I would encourage every one of you, if you want to do app development or you want to do web development, you have to have the growth mindset. With the fixed mindset, we believe that certain things are difficult. There are certain projects. There are certain tasks you. because we think
connection.
that it's difficult for us. So we have to have the growth mindset where you have to stick to it, even if it's difficult. Hello, you said my connection is bad?
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Pano,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
hello?
You can go ahead.
All right. Yeah, so let's just go into the main topic instead of wasting time. Can you put, all right, so we discuss here app development. So basically app development is the process in which like developers create application for different platforms like Windows, iOS, BlackBerry, like Mac OS. So once you can develop an application or standalone app that can work on those platforms, the process is called app development. If you can do that, you are an app developer. So let's go to the next slide. All right. So there are three kinds of apps. We have the web app, we have hybrid app, and then the native app. So basically, web app are like the basic app you see every day, a website. If you visit google.com, you are visiting a web app. Amazon.com is a web application. We have hybrid app. Hybrid apps are apps that works on both both website and then on a smartphone. And then we have the native apps. Those are standalone apps that works on specific platforms like iOS. People who have iPhones, they use that most of the apps they download on their iPhones are native apps because they were specifically built for iOS, meaning the iPhone operating system. And then the hybrid app is an app that can work on both. Like you can use it on a website and you can also use it on the phone. One example is Facebook. If you go to www.facebook.com, you access Facebook and it will allow you to do everything that you can use. You can do like while using the same thing as the mobile app. So basically you can have access to Facebook using facebook.com. You can have access to Facebook using the application you have on your phone that everyone of us use. So that is a hybrid app. And then the web app is website that we use every day. Can you go to the next slide? So let's talk about the native app and the importance of native apps. Native apps are specifically built for mobile devices operating system, like what I just said. Native apps, if you have on Samsung or maybe if you are in China, you use Huawei or use all the Chinese phone that you have. Most of them, they are all built on the Android operating system. Like they're all Android phones. If you use iPhone, you use like iOS. So most of the apps that are built, they are specifically built like for separate platform. You cannot use Android app on iPhone or likewise. You can use iPhone apps on Android phone. So native apps are built for specific platforms. They're just built for one. Like you cannot use it in both ways, unless hybrid where you can use it both on iOS, you can use it on web, you can use it on Android. No, it can't work like that. If you go to Play Store to download app, that app will only work on your Android phone. No Apple user will go to Google Play to go download app for their iPhone. It will not work. In fact, it will not even download before it works. So that is native apps. They work on specific, that's a key word, specific operating systems. If you are like Mac OS user, if you download an app from App Store, the app will only work on your MacBook or your Apple computer. It will not work on a Unix-based or Windows computers. It won't work. So because they are built for just one platform, you cannot mix them. So like I just said, you cannot mismatch like, oh, you want to switch from this and that. So technology that you use in developing native apps We have Java. If you want to you want to build Android app, you want to become an Android developer, you have to learn at least Java or Kotlin. If you want to learn, if you want to build applications for iPhones, you have to learn at least Swift or Objective C. And then, can you guys hear me? I don't want to keep talking. Maybe my network, because I got a network issue.
Yes,
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You can go ahead. You can go ahead. Let's see. Let me just figure out something here. Stay here. We cannot hear you. You are still here, but we cannot hear you. Oh, no, you there? Okay, so guys, just a minute. Let me. Okay, so if you're just joining, this is the last day for speakers. Yeah, so if you're just joining, this is the day 4, basically the last day for speakers presentation. Let's see how things goes. If there's still technical problem, then I'm going to come in to present on networking and other tips and tricks that you need to know. Next speaker is going to be Phillips, but Jerry is trying to check his connection from his end. Or if the situation still persists, we are going to switch speakers. I will come in and then thereafter Phillips will come in. Yeah, so guys, sorry, we're going to have a little switch. We're going to start sharing from Zoom, and then we're going to relay the program here on Tencent so that he finish. You'll soon be over. I think you can see the slide here. It'll soon be over, and thereafter, I'm gonna come in if the time is still enough, or our next speaker will take over. So let me switch here. Sorry, guys. Well, issue there. That's why we need this program to go in Africa. Never problem. Not easy. So let's get it going here from my end. Listen, people. Sorry, Zoom people. Let's see if the speaker can come off on that side. And if that is the case, we're going to relay from the other side. So he's still not yet on Tencent. So sorry, guys. If the situation, like I said, persists, I'm going to come in to present to give you guys some other things that you need to know, especially those that have interest in networking. So Let's just try one more time. And the situation is the same. You're gonna have a groove. Don't worry. Paper you still collect. Like you collect. Okay, so let's see. Everything is interesting. Let me see now. Sorry for the break-in. You can just have your on whatever break, on a coffee break or tea break, just for 2 minutes. Let's. Okay, guys. So sorry. So sorry. Sometimes it is what it is, but we gotta keep moving. Okay, so we're going to share from Tencent in. That means I have to. Jerry, if you're there on Tencent, I mean on Zoom, you can share a screen so that you can flip it over from here. Yeah, just yeah, I can see you already. So you just share a screen. Okay. Yeah, screen is coming up. So let me just do something here. Your screen, but just a white page. There is just white blank stuff.
You already know.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah, you can hear me? Okay. All right, so as I was discussing, we were on the native app, and sorry, the network. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I'm getting you
All
clear.
right, all right.
Yeah, you are loud.
Tencent people, can you hear him?
Yes, yes, we are getting
Just leave
you.
a feedback in the chat
He is
box.
clear. It's okay.
It's okay.
Okay, Jerry, go ahead. Jerry, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes, they can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. So we were discussing native apps, and I was giving the advantage and disadvantage of, no, sorry, this is web apps. Let me go back. I'm sorry. All right, so we were discussing the advantage and disadvantage of native app. You can see native apps are fast. They are faster in performance. They have good like user interface, and it can be accessed using the device or features like the camera or the performance at high speed. Example of native apps are most of the applications you have on your phone right now. Yeah, like Instagram, Twitter, IMO, WhatsApp, all those apps are native apps. They are very much fast, and then they are good. And then the cons of it is that they're very much expensive to build. If you want to build a native application, you have a huge amount of money. It takes up big space, like native app takes space on your phone. Unlike web applications that you can just access on the internet, like just putting the URL or the domain name, you can have access to them. For native apps, you have to download it on your phone. So meaning the more you use it, the more the space grow. If you download Facebook on your phone today, maybe it'll be 200 megabytes. But the more you use Facebook every day, the app space it will start increasing because the data, like you have more data and it keep growing. So it takes more space on your phone. And then update must be downloaded. Some apps, native apps on your phone, when they bring a new update, if you download it, it stop working for you. So those are some of the disadvantage of using native apps. And then the second one is the web apps, and this is the most popular one. This is the cheapest one. This is the one almost 70% of businesses or organizations like they use this. Like native apps are just website for short. They are just website. Google.com, Facebook.com, like anything your organization, your school website are all web apps. Web apps behave similarly to native apps, but are accessed via the web browser. So you don't really have to download it on your phone. For native apps, you can just, for web apps, you can just go online and type in the domain name or the website name, and you can just access them directly into your browser. And when you're done with it, like it don't take enough space on your phone. You don't have to download it, and it's very, very cheap to build. One of the pros of using the web app is web app are based on platform devices, easier to maintain. If you have a website, easy, you can just go online, try to edit. You can just publish a website. You can build a website in a day and publish it. You cannot build an application and publish it in 1 day. Usually don't run out of storage. You cannot. You don't have to download on your phone. Like I mentioned about the native app, where you have to download on your phone, you have to install it, and every time you have to keep updating. And one of the cons is like depending on browser. So one of the cons of using web app is that you have to have a browser in order to have access to it. So let's say Chrome browser or Firefox, Brave. If you don't have those applications, or you don't have those website, those browsers on your phone or your computer, you won't be able to have access to these apps. And whenever those platforms have problem, you won't be able to have access to your web application. And then needs an internet connection. Unless native apps, there are some native apps you can use without an access to internet. For example, there are games you can download on your phone that do not need internet connection to play. There are little games. There are so many games you can play on your phone, and you don't really need internet to play them because they are already saved on your mobile device, and the configuration have already been set. So each time you want to play, you can just go ahead and play them. You don't have to have access to internet. But every app that are based on web, you need to have internet to have access to them because there's a server somewhere that is going to render those services to you. Each time you go to www.facebook.com, the server has to send those information that you're requesting. So those are some challenges people face with web applications. And then the next one is the hybrid apps. Like we discussed earlier in the discussion, hybrid apps are apps that can work on both mobile and web. So they are like, you can have access to them at any time, both on using your browser or using your mobile. Like I gave an example when we started, I said Facebook. You can have access to Facebook just using facebook.com. So when you have access to facebook.com, you have the same information or the data that are available to people who uses the mobile app, which is the Facebook app we have on our phones. So Facebook is a hybrid app. Okay, so these web apps that look, these are web apps that look like, that feel like native apps. They might have home screen, app icon, responsive design, fast performance, even be able to function offline, but they are really web apps. So web apps are more like cheap in terms of development when it comes to native apps. Let's look at some of the advantages. The pros of hybrid apps are they are quicker and cheaper to build, load quickly, less code to maintain. These are the pros of using a hybrid app. The cons is that their lacks of power, like the lacks power of native apps. So we're saying it has to download each element. So hybrid apps have to download most of the components when you are like, when you're rendering. Most of the time when you're online, you search for something, it takes a longer time to download, especially when you are somewhere where the internet speed is very low. Like me now, I've been having issue with the Tencent Meeting. When I click on it, it keeps like going off and on because it is dependent. I'm not using the app. I'm using the web version of Tencent Meeting VOV. So it is dependent on the data that is available into that server. So each time I want to use it, I have to get all of those data, bring it to my computer, and then I have to receive them before I can have access to that platform, which makes it very slow. For native apps, you don't have to, because once you download the apps from your phone, all of the data that are available or that are needed in order for that app to function, they are all downloaded onto your phone. So each time you want to use it, you don't really need to. That's why when you open Facebook app or Instagram, it doesn't take long. It just like take a few seconds and then you can see everything reading, you can watch your videos, because the data have already been into your phone. You just getting few like information out, like receiving onto your device. So hybrid apps are more slower than native apps. And certain features may not be usable on certain devices because everyone uses different devices. Like people say using Nokia or BlackBerry, which is not reliable. It's not reliant on the iOS or Android platforms. They're using CVM and RIM, which are the platform for BlackBerry. So it's difficult to use them. Okay, let's move. So we have to discuss becoming an app developer. What do you need to become an app developer? So the very first step towards learning to develop a mobile application is to choose what? A platform. So applications like we just mentioned, there are iOS, there are Android, and then there are also Mac OS, Windows. There's so many, like Sony Erasing, those things are outdated, but they were all platforms that people were building for. Nokia, they're all different operating systems. So if you want to become an app developer, you have to choose what platform do you want to build? What platform do you want to learn? You can, even though some people are very smart, they can learn like most of the platform, they can work with it, but you have to start from somewhere. What do you want to develop? Do you want to become an Android developer, iOS developer, or you want to develop application for operating system like Mac or Windows? So it's clear that Android and iOS are dominating the mobile industry. Yeah, Windows 10 apps may still be relevant. Like Windows 10 apps are relevant because there are so many applications people still developing for Windows computer, but they're not really good when it comes to maybe you become your software developer and you want to earn money from a career. I don't think I would advise you to go to Windows or Mac. Mobile development will be the best option because I don't think there's so many people using desktop application. I don't know how many people download apps on their computer every day. Just few apps are very important. For example, I'm using Zoom right now. I had to download it on my computer, but how many like kind of Zoom I have to download every day? So, but for when it comes to the mobile phone, we all download apps every day for different services. So becoming an app developer, I would encourage you to go to either developing iOS or Android. I think those are the two most popular platforms right now you can learn to build. Learning the essential skills. So after choosing what kind of platform or what you want, like if you want to become an iOS or Android developer or you want to do everything you want, then you have to choose, you have to then learn the skills. To be a mobile developer, one must possess the requires software development skills and knowledge. Before you dive into the world of programming, it's important that you answer some simple questions. Where exactly are you coming from? Okay, so this place we have like 3 scenarios right here. So if you want to become a software developer, it depends. For example, me, I've learned web development, app development, and so many things. And then if I desire, I want to become an iOS developer, they have to start from somewhere. And then it depends on what I know and where I'm starting from. So if you are a total beginner, it's different from you than just someone who already know how to develop website or develop application for different platforms. So you have to answer this question before you can start. So these are the 3 options. The first one is maybe you are a web developer who is looking to learn mobile app development. So in this case, you will find many useful platforms that will help you transit into mobile app development. If you already know mobile app development, you want to transition into building. You can develop a website, you want to build apps. There are places you can start. This is the first option. Second option is you may not have done any coding before, but you have basic idea of how object-oriented programming works. So this is very important because mobile app development is not like web development. For web development, you can even learn HTML and you can build a website. You can learn HTML, CSS, and you can build a website. You understand? It depends on the kind of website you want to build and what kind of functionality you want to have in those websites. But web development app development is totally different from that. If you want to learn app development, you must learn object-oriented programming because most of the frameworks, app development, basically they rely on the frameworks that have been built. For example, React Native, like React Native, Flutter, Ionic, all those platforms, they rely on frameworks that have been built by other developers using APIs and stuff. So if you don't know object-oriented programming, it's very difficult to learn app development. But someone who doesn't know anything about programming can build a website by just learning HTML. It depends. You can build a basic website by just showing your picture, your bio, and all that. You don't have to have too much complexity. But For app development, it's not as simple as that. You must have a basic knowledge when it comes to programming languages, because most of those platforms, they use different programming languages. Like if you go to Flutter, they use that. So if you learn like PHP and then you want to build webs, you want to build mobile application, and then you go to Flutter, which is a framework from Google, and you want to use it to build apps, you can go PHP, and that is not PHP. Everything is different from that. But once you understand the object-oriented programming, you can learn that easily. You can use 1 month to understand all of the fundamental principles, or maybe the syntax. You can learn it in a few weeks or months once you already understand the object-oriented programming, which is very important. So if you want to become an app developer, I will encourage you, go and learn any programming language. It doesn't have to be Flutter or React Native. Go and learn anything, but make sure you understand the basic and the fundamental principles of object-oriented programming. If you understand object-oriented programming, you can learn to build an application, because most of the framework out there, they are all based on object-oriented programming. You just need to learn to understand how it is, how classes works, how objects works. If you understand that, it's easier for you to navigate. You can learn it. You can just sit and understand. Yeah. And then the third one is you are an absolute beginner. In this case, it's best to take up a short introductory course on computer science. So if you don't have any idea when it comes to computer programming at all, I will advise you to start from the beginning level. Don't jump. Don't wake up just saying you want to become an app developer. You have to understand the computer science in general, how it works. Like understand all those jargons, all those terminologies, all those small frameworks. Like learn about them before you can jump into becoming an app developer. It is not simple, but you can do it. You just have to understand the basic principles and how everything works. You can become an app developer. But it's not as easy as learning to build website. Like I said previously, you can build a website in 1 day, but you can build an entire application in a day. It's not possible. Not at all. And mastering the coding skills. So when you already decided, and then you're already choosing what kind of platform you want to use, whether you want to become an iOS developer or Android, or you want to do both, then you have to master the skills. So once you have chosen your platform, the next step is you need to learn the core concepts. For example, if you want to learn iOS, you will need to learn Swift or Objective-C. But then how do you choose whether you want to learn Swift or Objective-C? How do you know which one is the best or which one is not? It depends upon the reason why you are learning. Let's say you want to become a freelancer, you want to learn how to build mobile app, to be building app for companies or private entity. You can go with Swift. But if you want to work with maybe Google or Facebook or big companies, you might have to go with Objective-C, because this is the first programming language for iOS, and it have big database and good documentation. So most of those big platforms are using this programming language. You might have to go with this in order to be able to work with those companies. And then if you are learning to develop an app to create your own product, then Swift will be the best choice. If you want to become a freelancer, you can go with Swift. But then if you want to work with big companies like Google, I will advise you to go Objective-C. This is the best programming language if you want to work with big companies. For Android, to develop an Android app, you will need to learn Java or Kotlin. Kotlin is developed by Google, and it is one of the most popular platforms right now people are using to develop application for Android. And then converting to other platforms. So once you have mastered a single platform, it's time to try your hand at other areas as well. So we just discussed if you want to learn Android or you want to learn like iOS, or you want to do both. But then there are other platforms that enable you to use all those platforms at once. let's say you want to build iOS and Android at the same time. You don't have to like code the two apps separately. There are other apps. Like React Native is very popular. It was built by Google, and not Google, but Facebook in 2014. So with React Native, you can build native apps using like for cross platforms, which is you can use it on Android, you can use it on iOS. So if you learn React Native, you'll be able to develop applications for two platforms. That's why they call it cross-platform technologies. So cross-platform basically means the app you are building will be able to work on different platforms, like more than one or two or three. Yeah. So you have to decide if you want to do that. And then cross-platform app development. So cross-platform app development is the creation of software applications that are compatible with mobile operating systems. Yeah, mobile operating systems. You can see here, there are a lot of cross-platform technologies, by the way. I get 4. These are all frameworks. You have that was developed by Google. I've forgotten the year it was developed, but it's recent. React Native was from Facebook, and then Ionic is an open source platform. So for Flutter, if you want to become a mobile app developer for iOS and Android, you have to learn that. That is a programming language that was built by Google. Google. So it's very easy. That is not that hard. If you understand like the object-oriented programming, it's very easy for you to learn that. It's very easy. And most of it are based on frameworks and libraries from different like private developers. That's why they have Flutter.dev. If you go there, you will see different, like every day you will see different open source APIs, open source libraries people develop for anything, for example. So meaning when you are developing applications, you don't have to code from scratch. Most of the thing you want to do, they already have it built. You can just use it. But you have to understand the object-oriented programming in order to use that. Same thing as React Native. React Native was built by Facebook in 2014. And then React Native uses JavaScript. So in order to work with React Native, you need to learn JavaScript. If you learn JavaScript, then you can download the React Native framework and you can use it, and you can do cross-platform mobile applications. And then we have Ionic. There's an open source application that you can also use to develop cross-platform technology. Another one is Xamarin, and this was developed by Microsoft. For this, you will need to learn C#. This is a programming language that you will need to understand. Yes, this is a thing called framework. So these are all frameworks that you can learn to do cross-platform development. I don't know how many minutes I have left, but these are all platforms you can use to develop cross-platform development. So I'm gonna show you all of these. It doesn't mean that I know them. Basically, what I've been working with most of the time is Flutter. I like it because it develops beautiful user interface. Flutter is very much unique. You can like, if you want to build application that people download it, will really like clean, beautiful. Like, I prefer you go to Flutter. But then React Native is the #1 cross-platform technology because it was developed before Flutter, so meaning it have a bigger community, a support system. Software development is all about support system. So if you are going to certain programming language, you have to understand when was it built, how large is the community is, because that's how you get support. It's not like when you learn it today, meaning you know it. Every after 2 days or 6 months or 1 month, Python or JavaScript, they change their framework, they have updates. So basically, what you know today may not work tomorrow for you. You will think like, okay, this syntax work for me, and then tomorrow you type the same syntax and it's not working. You're like, why am I getting error? Meaning, the people have updates, they have changed the way that the syntax works. So you have to learn the new way it works. That's why most people, when they are starting software development, they always choose a platform that have a huge support community where when they are stuck somewhere, they can always go and ask for help and they can have help. So you have to choose wisely whether you want to do Flutter, you want to do React Native. But the two most popular ones right now are React Native and Flutter. You can decide to go with anyone. React Native is more popular than Flutter, but for me personally, I will go with Flutter. Actually, we don't have enough time. I would have going to Flutter and teach you, like show you some basic how you can like design a home screen on a mobile app and all that, but we don't have the time. Even setting up the development environment on your computer will take up to maybe 20 hours just to download the Flutter, or maybe if you are using the Mac OS rather, it will take you longer time to download the Xcode on your computer. So we don't have time to do that. I hope maybe we can schedule another time after this program where we all can learn together. We can schedule a time where I can teach whoever interested in learning app development, the basic principle, how to start, where to start from, and how to become a better programmer. I'm not the best, but I think with the little knowledge I have, it can help you in becoming a good software developer. So yeah, I wish we could have more time so we can work through that. So basically, this is it. This is the end of my presentation. If you have any other question, you can ask me and I'll be here to answer. Because we have another presentation in about, I think, 10 minutes. So, Pano, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Thank you so much for your presentation. We will be taking questions, and if there is any, if not, then we will just get your parting statement, and thereafter we'll be getting our next speaker, Phillips. So let's just give it a minute. If there are any questions from anyone. So
Yes, I have a question. I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask Jerry, like you are specifying.
Please, can you speak slowly, but because my connection is very, it's very
All
good.
right. Okay. I'm sorry.
And then
Can you hear me now?
I sent my question
I'm not hearing anything. Is this
in the chat.
I should read the question in the chat.
Hello?
Just go ahead. There is no time, guys. Just go ahead. Ask your question, Jala.
Okay, Jerry, I want to know, like you were talking about Harbor and other
Yes, I
apps,
sent my
right?
question in the chat.
Oh Lord.
I don't speak, but my connection is very good. It's not very good.
We will see your question. Don't worry. Just send it in the chat. It's okay.
Jerry, are you getting me?
Jala, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Can you please carry out the first page where he was talking about
Go ahead.
the app? I think I was mistaking something. I want to ask because I really want to know the usage of if you are using extension, because sometimes extension can be used on website and it can be used on native app. So that we really want to know which category that you can put extension in.
Apparently, did you guys question?
No, I didn't get it at all.
Oh,
but
Lord.
Can you hear him speaking?
I'm hearing you, but I can't understand what you're saying.
Jala, you can try to go ahead again. Let's.
I want you to categorize extension.
So he's saying that you can please categorize extension.
What do you mean by that?
Extension can be used on a mobile app and they can be used on a web app.
What was the way you say?
But you get it. I'm trying to explain. I
Go ahead,
already
go
know how
ahead.
I'm feeling today. Extension, okay, like something, right? If you are on Facebook and then you want to delete all your friends automatically, you use our extension on Facebook to delete your friend automatically. And it's also an app that you can use. So I'm asking if you can use, how can you categorize extension?
I can hear you.
Okay, let's forget it,
Okay,
bro.
Chala, just type your question.
Next time.
We're going to take the next question in the chat box. Sorry for not in. This guy said he sent question here. This David Brother himself. Well, we cannot see your question in the chat box. The guy from I think Congo. We cannot see your question, or David, or your brother. So if we cannot, if Jala, you can type your question quickly, then I can read the question to him. If not, Jerry, can you give me your parting statement?
Please, host,
Right.
host.
Yeah. So basically, software development or app development in general is very complex. So don't be greedy. To start from somewhere, don't try to learn everything at once. Try to, baby steps. Learn little by little. Choose a programming language. For example, if you want to become an app developer, first understand because most of these technologies they rely upon each other. So if you just jump, it becomes difficult. Like say, if you don't understand what is API, and you say you want to become an app developer, you're just wasting your time because most of the time you'll be relying on APIs because you need data from different sources. Let's say you are developing an application that will tell you the weather conditions. You need APIs from weather, like the from weather stations that will show you, oh, this tomorrow it will rain in New York or it will rain in Liberia or maybe Ukraine. So you need to learn all of those materials. Don't jump. Don't just wake up and say, oh, I want to learn. I want to do iOS and Android. Some of us, we've been through it. We did the same thing, and then we knew at the end we had to go back and start from the beginning. So don't be greedy. Start from somewhere. Start from the beginning. Learn the concept. Build it upon each other, and you'll see how where you become. So don't rush it. Just start from somewhere. If you want to start building application, like if you want to build for mobile, cross-platform technologies like iOS and Android, I will advise you to go and learn Flutter. Flutter rely on that, which is the same thing as the object-oriented programming, but you will find a lot of courses out there that will teach you the basic principles of object-oriented programming. So you can go on Udemy or maybe, I don't know, Udemy, YouTube. There's so many platforms that will teach you. Just will pick out a course, learn it. If you don't understand, pick another one because we all have different methods of learning. Some of us learn by reading, some of us learn by seeing visually, some people they learn by listening, audio and stuff. So find the best way you think you can learn, find out the information and material, absorb it, and then just keep learning. The software development journey never ends. You keep learning until you get like retired. Like there is something like I know it, nobody knows it. Every day I'm learning. And also the final like part is that there's a program called ALS Africa, and it is a big platform in Africa that teaches software development, software engineering for 12 months. And this program, it teaches you the fundamental principles and it will teach you to become a front end or a back end engineer. If you go and you run into it, I think it will help you a lot. So people who are interested, you can look up on Facebook name. My name is Jerry Seazia on all platforms. You can go and see all of the information I've uploaded on my Facebook. You can go and try to sign up for it. The next batch will be February 20th, I think so. So if you apply now, you may get a result tomorrow. So go and apply and I wish you a success. I wish that everybody in Liberia become, or wherever, which country you're from, become a software engineer. It's a very good major and very good career. I wish everyone a success. If you have any questions, you can ask me, or you can privately inbox me anytime.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, this question from Jala, he said, can you categorize extension? Extension can use on web and also app. I don't know if you understand that, but if you...
No, actually, I don't understand that question. Oh, seriously.
Okay, so we'll take it from there like that. Anything, I will Jala, anything you can message me and then I will link you guys up.
Yeah, maybe you can message it or you can probably inbox me. We can talk about that. But if you say extension, I don't know what you mean because there's so many varieties of extension. Like, no idea what you're talking about. You have to be very much specific what you're saying. So you can inbox me or you can like reach out to Orlando. Then we can talk about that.
All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Just send your emojis, your thank you messages as we let go of our first speaker. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for your sacrifice and everything. We're going to switch pendulum as usual back to Tencent meeting. So those on Zoom meeting, so we are going back to normal. Philip, I think you're also on Tencent, so we're going to switch and let's see what we can do right here. Just give us 2 minutes and let's do the switching for you. Hello. So just give us a minute. Let's get it, some people set up, and then Philip. But before Philip, we'll be getting Gideon, who will introduce our speaker. Gideon, just give me a minute so that people on Zoom can also hear you, and let's reduce the echo as well.
You might have feeling my relationship.
Please, God, please mute yourself. Let's get this.
Philip Bargin, welcome.
Orlando, are you good now?
You can go ahead.
Okay, greeting everyone. We bring to you the executive director of RHL, who will be speaking to us on web development. He is one of the scholars and researchers who have received the Liberian Research and Development Network prestigious National Academic Excellence Award alongside 24 young Liberians across Liberia. He is the executive director of Innovation Hub Liberia. He worked as NOC technician at LTC Mobile Family Lipteco, and a part-time lecturer at Star University. He is no one else but Executive Director Philip Bargin. Philip Bargin, you are welcome.
Thank you, Guido. Philip, if you are there, you can unmute yourself and start sharing. Philip, are you there?
Can somebody just confirm if they hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so the introduction was too much. I don't even know what I mean we're talking about. But thank God I'm here. I'm trying to share my screen. I kind of new to this platform though. So I have to
The
be
third button, the one with the
struggling.
computer screen that has the small arrow in it.
Yeah, I've seen it, but you know, the whole MacBook we're using here, it can kill a problem. So I have to be going back and forth with it. Let me see how I can share my screen from the Mac because I come in 1 minute.
We can, if are you sharing that one, we can see your, I think it's on your phone. Philip, are you the one sharing the one from your phone? Philip, are you there? Maybe you can be speaking so that we can do it together. Philip? All right, guys, so.
Okay. So I hope I'm not interrupting. I'm back. Can somebody just confirm you hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yes, we hear you, Philip.
Okay, I think I got it set out. Well, I hope this goes well. So we're gonna be talking about web development, and it's an interesting topic for me because this has been part of my life for some time. Unlike the previous speaker, I'm not an application developer. I basically just work with websites and some other stuff. So even though there have been huge introduction made about me, some of those things don't believe in and I'm me. They call me Philip Bargin, and I work for Liptelco. Do part-time stuff at Stars, and I'm the executive director for Innovations Hub Liberia. And I know we're out of time, but I would just love two persons to maybe unmute themselves, introduce themselves, call your name, what you involved with, and your expectation for this particular presentation.
Philip, just put the presentation in full screen, please.
Say?
The presentation
Hello?
in full screen, okay.
Yeah, so.
Hello?
Yeah?
Okay, I'm Jala Gibson, studying my BSc, majoring in computer science currently. For this presentation, I really want to know specifically about backend, website backend.
Okay. Like one more person. One more person.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Chika Fan. I'm doing industrial engineering master. Because the world now is industrial without computer knowledge, I don't think I will be able to survive. So I really want to get some insight of this topic.
You got any expectation that you can wait for this particular session for today?
Yes. My expectation is to know how to work in with Invera website because like for now, I'm doing the battery and the entire battery I'm doing now is purely computer. So that is my expectation, get some insight of website development.
Okay, sir. I hope I can serve some of the expectations you have given. Probably much because of time, I won't be able to reach to certain portion. And so the first speaker, the first person I talked, I can't remember the name again, but I'm not technically a back-end developer. I'm going to emphasize this presentation, going to talk about back-end development. It's going to try to distinguish the difference between a front-end development and a back-end development. I probably will not talk deep about back-end development because I just know back-end languages. I really not into it like that. So quickly, for this whole conversation, we have a lot, but I just try to capture three objectives that we supposed to we supposed to use as a guideline. The first thing is understand what web development is. Try to differentiate the difference between a front-end development and a back-end development. And then maybe at the end of this presentation, we're going to write a simple web page, a simple web page with front-end languages. We're gonna write it. I hope we have time to do it because that's why I was told we got 1 hour 30 minutes. So I hope that time is enough for us to go through it. Now, when we talk about web development, right? There are several things come to mind. Sorry, maybe it will not be part of this presentation, so I'll have to say it. I don't know what my video on. I don't know whether they can put video on or people. Orlando, I'm cool without video, right?
You can put on if that's possible. Just use the second
view
button
on, we'll
to
see
start
you.
video.
Okay, so I have to cancel this stuff first.
No, you don't have to
Let's see
cancel. It's okay.
I mean, like I have to go back to start a video.
You can do it from you can do it like that. So you don't have to cancel.
on,
Just
right?
coming. Let me see. Yeah, it's on now. It's on.
Yeah. I hope this is right. So going back, right? When we talk about web development, all of us already understand. I think the previous speaker might have said a lot about it. When the word web is mentioned, the first thing that comes to mind is the internet, because the internet is the World Wide Web. And you see people going, all of us use the web every day, right? But how is the contents that are on the web being developed? So I try to capture just the term web development and list and outline few bullet points, right? So the first thing is that web development determines the purpose and goal of website. So the first thing is when you become a web developer or when you start building websites, you have to firstly understand what the purpose of the site is, the goal of the site is, the client needs, and even the people who are going to be visiting the site, their own needs, right? And in web development, right, we also design and develop website. It is obvious because once you become a web developer or you become doing web development, you obviously start building and designing website. I hope to talk about the difference between designing website and building website later. Now, building a web development takes a whole stage, right? It takes different phases. So one of those phases is After you have built a website, you need to evaluate and test whatever website you have built, implement it, and then at the end of it, you continue to maintain what you have built, right? So the maintenance part takes as long as the site is in existence. So as long as the site is in existence, you have to continuously maintain it. So that's just for the overall of web development, right? And I'm going through this, but at any point, if I Zoom, I will say raise your hand. I don't know whether you can raise your hand yet, but at any point you can stop me. I'm a fast talker, so you can stop me at any point and ask your question. Basically, because I want to be interactive and I preaching or I guest preacher. So you can stop me at any point and ask question if you think, right? I just hope it be about what I'm talking about. So let's get to front end and back end web development, right? I guess all of us here are not from a tech background, so I try to make this very simple and make it like to reach all of us, the entire audience needs, right? So somebody mentioned previously that somebody mentioned about back end and it raised concern. So what is a front end development? And if a web developer tell you that I'm a front end developer, what they're actually talking about is that they work with front-end languages, right? So what it means is that they design a component of a web page using HTML. They will start the web page using CSS. They make the web page interactive using JavaScript, and they can use other framework like React, JX, and all the JX framework, right? But the point here is this: a front-end developer basically just builds sites using front-end languages. And what are those front-end languages? Those front-end languages are primarily HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a whole lot of different framework that come. But the framework still comes from within either HTML or within JavaScript. Basically, most of the frameworks come with JavaScript or comes from JavaScript, right? These are almost like templates that people have already made. And you just have to use these templates, but these templates are either based on JavaScript, CSS, or HTML, right? So anytime somebody tell you I'm a front-end developer, they basically develop these languages that I mentioned, right, are executed within the browser. They are not executed within the server. So in other words, if you are a web developer or you build a site using HTML, or using CSS, or using JavaScript, don't bother knowing what they are now. I will talk about them later, right? But just in case you are building a website using them, just understand that this site, right, will be executed directly within the browser. In other words, you do not need to have a server, right, to execute your code. Your code can be executed directly within the browser. Now, a back-end developer on the other end build dynamic websites, right? A very good example of dynamic website would be like Facebook, right? Let me use Facebook. If all of us log into our Facebook now, will we see the same content? Will we see the same information displayed? No, right? But if all of us were to log on to TRT website, right? Will we see the same content? Obviously, yes, right? We're going to see the same content within TRT website. Why? Because that site is static. It is just a site that is there and the information remain the same. Whether it is Orlando that is going through that site, it is Philip or Jacob, the site remains the same. The contents remain the same. So mostly those sites are considered as static sites, right? But a dynamic site changes based on the user that is logging in. And the reason why that happens is because it is actually the code is actually being executed on the server. So backend languages are executed on server or on the server and not within the browser. A very good example of a backend programming language or backend web development language, right, is PHP, Hypertext Preprocessor. That language is directly executed on the server. So if you are writing a code and you're writing a code using PHP, right? You will obviously have or need to install a server on your computer along with the application you're going to be using to write your code. So every time you write your code, you have to make sure that the server is active, the server is running before your code can be executed. But with front-end languages, you do not need to install a server because the browser themselves execute the code. So, like I said from the beginning, right, the entire presentation is going to be centered around basically front-end development because from my understanding, the entire training or whatever we call it, right, was not for or not restricted to just technical people because some people who are not too technical. So I try to balance it and make everybody feel a part of it or get a little concept of it. Again, you can stop me at any point to ask questions and if you not understand, right? So what are some of the reasons or what are the importance of web development, right? One reason for which we build website is to give first impression for our business or for that institution if you are just working for another institution. But if you are working for yourself, one of the main reasons why you build website is to give first impression. Imagine somebody is in China and I'm in Liberia. I'm running my business called Innovation Hub Liberia. And I need somebody in China to understand that, okay, I'm running this institution here in Liberia and these are the things that we are into, right? How do I tell the person if I do not have a website? Probably I know the first option is for me to maybe send my brochure through DHL for the person to receive it, right? Or
Which network is that? Is Orange or Lone Star Cell? Check over which one. So guys, today will be the last day for speaker's presentation. While Philip connection is trying to be re-established, today is the last day for speaker's presentation. Beginning tomorrow, we'll start to hear from the participant. So if your group is already set and you guys, your PPT is ready, let me know after this meeting. You can send me a message on WhatsApp or through my email using admin@tit.org and let me know that Orlando or the presentation is ready, want to be the first to present or something like that. So the group that will be ready for tomorrow will take on. The after tomorrow will end with the remaining groups if there will be any. If time is available tomorrow, I will also cover up networking and any other thing you need to know about computer. Philip, are you back? Every other thing you need to know about computer and here and there. Philip, you are unmuted, but we cannot hear you. So please, like we said, to participate or to get certificate, you have to participate in a project and you have to attend at least 5 of the 6 days. So if you have attended from day 1 to now, at 4 tomorrow, you just attend at 5 days. And maybe luckily if your group is presenting tomorrow, that means you automatically qualify to get a certificate. For some of you who are still indecisive about which group to join and if to participate in a group project, it's also free. You can just audit this program and listen to what people have to say, and you can take it on from there, but there will be no certificate for you. So certificate only be given to those that are participating in group projects. So let's just wait a few minutes to hear from Philip. Hope his connection is going to do him justice. If not, maybe, okay, there is one group from networking that says their PPT is ready. So maybe they'll be the first to present. I think it's from networking or web development. I'll verify tomorrow. So if Philip connection still have some issues. My PPT is already ready. I'm set to give you guys what I have from my end today. You already know, like the roster says, if you want to hear from the guru, let's see what it does.
Please,
Philip, are you back? If you want to find
please.
yourself, hey, I know Julio. I will remove
Yeah.
you from the. Stop unmuting yourself. Your background is very noisy and you keep unmuting yourself. So let's wait a few minutes for Philip. Web development people say they are ready to present tomorrow. I'm sure networking people, the group of SWA and the other guys, they already have the group. I don't know if the PPT is also ready. But let me be doing something while waiting for Philip, because we can't keep it boring. So whatever you are, it's time for the Guru Show. Philip, if you are there and you are back, you just let me know anytime, and I'm going to stop whatever I'm doing, and you can take it over from me. Let me just search to see if he's here. He's not here, so I'm sure you have a total shutdown of his computer. But somebody can please be checking while I'm going ahead. If Philip is back, you just check in the group or the attendance for Philip. Once he's there, then you can just let me know. Let me try to share my screen and see what I can do for you guys. What do I have? Okay, let's see. So first thing first, we discussed some of these things during the last session that we have with the summer stuff we have. And basically, let's say you are connected to this Wi-Fi, but then the person just come and put the Wi-Fi password there. They didn't tell you which password it is for the Wi-Fi, and they log in with your computer, but also your mobile phone doesn't have an internet, and you also want to share that Wi-Fi or connect to that Wi-Fi using your phone, but the person probably is not around, or I'm not seeing anything. You are seeing Affogato right now. I think that's what you should be seeing. I'm not sharing any other thing. Can anybody see my screen like Affogato? Someone says not seeing anything.
Yes, we have seen it.
Okay. So let's do something here. Okay. So step number one is for you to come here.
Yeah.
Okay. So step number one is for you to come here. Let me see who's one of the volunteers here so I can make you co-host to mute these people. Because they must start to be disturbing me. I will not be focusing on here. Oh, Noah, make you co-host. Let me see if Noah's available. If he's not there, let me check for Gideon so that you can mute these people. Some of them.
I'm co-host on Tencent. I'm not co-host on Zoom. I cannot be two places at a time.
Okay, let me remove your co-host from Tencent.
I'm co-host on Tencent. I cannot go on Zoom.
Okay, since you are here on Tencent, just check it out for me. Those people that are disturbing.
I'm seeing your screen, and I don't think Tencent have anyone whose mic is unmuted apart from me and you. I just unmuted my mic just now to answer you. I think the noise is from Zoom.
Okay, thank you. So you come to where you see the Wi-Fi signal here, or the icon. You just right click on it and you do Open Network and Sharing Center. You have two ways to open it. That's one way. Another way you can open that Network and Sharing Center is for you to press your hand on the Windows key. That is the key that have the flag on it around your right lower corner on your keyboard, and then you press arrow. So Windows key plus arrow will open up the run dialog box. Philip, if you are back, you just let me know, unmute yourself, and I'm going to stop whatever I'm doing. So you open the run dialog box and you can tap ncpa.cpl. It's also going to open up the same thing we have here, Network and Sharing Center. So ncpa.cpl you can also get from here as well. But if you just use the first one that I gave you, then you can come here and open change adapter option. And from change adapter option, you can now be able to see this one, Network and Sharing Center. So that's two ways to reach here. If you are here now, you can see the different adapters that you have. Like for example, if a connection is coming through fast Ethernet cable, or it's a Wi-Fi connection, let's take it as Wi-Fi. You can just right click here on the Wi-Fi adapter, and then you click here on status. So status, and then you can click on wireless property. So you see it like this, you right click here and open the status. Status, you click on wireless property. Wireless property will open, and you look for the security tab. So for the security tab, you just make sure you click on this one. And once I click on show characters, it's going to show me the Wi-Fi password for TIT Wi-Fi, which is the Wi-Fi I'm connected to now. It's going to show me the Wi-Fi password. So if you are using somebody's Wi-Fi right now, you should be able to see the Wi-Fi password for that Wi-Fi you're connected to. That way you can also connect using your phone or whatever device you have to connect to that Wi-Fi you have. Let's see another way we can also do it through the command prompt or CMD. So the open CMD, you have basically 3 or 4 ways to do it. One way is for you to search CMD or command prompt in your search bar here. And then once it's open, you can start the movement from there. But you can also use the run dialog box by pressing the Windows key and arrow. And then you can also tap here CMD. So once CMD opens, all you want to do here is for you to execute some commands. And the command that we're first going to look at is, one of them I cannot really show you because it's going to automatically reveal the password that I have from a TIT Wi-Fi. So I will just show you the other way, and then it's going to be the same thing. So what you want to do is to put net sh. WLAN means wireless local area network or wide local area network. Net HH WLAN profile or show profile. And then the name of that profile, or you can just leave it like this and say show profile. Show profile means you want to see all of the Wi-Fi this computer have ever connected to. All of the Wi-Fi you have ever connected to using this computer. So how do we do it? You just put in this command and you press enter. So like this is going to show you all of the Wi-Fi that this computer have ever connected to. You have TIT Wi-Fi, Hoa University, Kamate, Mello. Mello is the Wi-Fi for Washbin, who is also on this platform, and you call him Sweet Level. So let's see, for example, I use this computer to connect to Washbin Wi-Fi. So let's see if we can see the password for Washbin Wi-Fi. Washbin, I'm sorry. So we have the profile. We can say the name of that profile is what's the name here? MELW. Let's see, Mello. So MELLAW. And then the key equal clear. So once I hit enter, I should be able to see all of the details about that Wi-Fi. And luckily for me, when I come here, key content, I can see the Wi-Fi password. So if you go to Watchbin place right now, and then you see the Wi-Fi name, Mello, the password to log into that Wi-Fi is 12345 at Mello. So basically, this is how you do it. And if you want to see the password for TIT as well, if you have ever connected TIT Wi-Fi, you can just change the command here, where we have the name, you change it here to TIT, and then you just enter. It's gonna be good for you. So that was just one part of it. I hope you are going through. If you are going through, just send me a message in the chat box. Let me know if you are getting this. So let's change. There are other things you can do with CMD, but for the sake of those that are basically into networking, let's switch our pendulum to Philip. Are you there? Philip, are you there? If you are there, please let me know. I'm coming. Let me check. I have a message here on this thing. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, Philip.
Yeah. I want to upload for noticing.
Okay. Let me stop sharing, and then you can continue from there. Okay, so you can go ahead and share. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back for another interesting stuff. Something good is coming up. Philip, you can go ahead. You can.
I'm trying to share. I'm doing that now. Can somebody just tell me where, at which point you stop hearing me?
We did not reach this far. You can go back. You can go back.
Yeah.
Go back again and see. You can go back again. Philip, oh, we are losing you. We are losing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philip, you can go back.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay.
You were discussing back end, right?
Okay, go in front. Go in front. Okay, I think you can start from here.
Yeah. So it's so starting. It's so starting. I'm really sorry. I must apologize. I ain't la bureau. I need to explain it further. I ain't la bureau. I using my mobile data at the same time trying to use my office Wi-Fi, but it's still not serving me right. So let me go back to what I said quickly so that I can move on, right? I said front-end languages are basically executed within the browser, and back-end languages are executed within or on the server, right? So a very good example of a back-end language is PHP, the hypertext preprocessor, right? And what back-end languages does is that they help build dynamic site. Thanks to JavaScript that is advancing, JavaScript should probably be one of the best programming languages around, right? So I'm speaking from experience. Maybe with these small languages, but JavaScript is very popular thanks to them. But on the overall, we use PHP when we want to build dynamic site. And the difference, I was setting an example on using Facebook, right? Let's say most of these sites that we use to create our login, and we create account, and then we go on the Facebook, LinkedIn, and stuff, right? You see that these are actually web pages, but when we go to them, they give us contents differently as per the user that log in. So these are dynamic sites as compared to static site. A very good example of static site would be the TRT website, which you could all of us log onto that site, or we go visit that site, we still see the same information. So I also talk about why the importance of web design, and I say it creates first impression, and it helps customers who you may not even know, right, reach out and read about the services you offer. And I talk about web designers. I said web designers are people who basically decide the look and feel of a website, right? So these are people who will sit down, or in this role, you're going to sit down and think how the website should look or how the website should be, right? In terms of the layout of that website, the fonts, the colors, the images, and maybe the overall branding of that website, right? And then they even create visual mock-up that you show to somebody. And then based on those mock-up, web developers build or design the website, right? So if once the person already decided the design of the website, you can go and build the site down or write the code that will generate that particular site. So I also said that few careers within web design is or could be web author, web designer, web developer, or webmaster. So web authors are people who basically create the content, right, for the website, and the designer, on the other hand, decide the layout, like I said, and the web developer develop or write the code for that website, and the overall guy who manages the site and makes sure that everything is intact is the webmaster. But the good thing is that one person can be all, and I was setting the example on the place I live, right? the country I live in. I said you can be all, even with an institution that you're not working with, you can still be all of these at once, because somebody will tell you about building a site. They not even get asked or one clue on how the site should look, but they'll still ask you, right? Say we want our site to be like this. So I also went to talk about web page. I said a web page is a single file, but when you hear somebody talk about website, right, they're actually talking about group of related web pages that comes together to make a website, right? So what are the different kind of websites that we will usually see around? We got commercial website, like we always visit e-commerce site, and some of the commercial website could be corporate institutions, right? Corporate institutions that want their online presence. So they create website for online presence. It could even be a site that you can even book appointment or so, right? And then we have portal site. One way or the other, a lot of us are interacting with portal, right? With a portal, either for information, for news, or for search engine purpose, right? So especially those of us doing masters, one way or the other, we have gone to do research and we have to go to a portal. And then we also have informational website, right? These are basically for government or for maybe a nonprofit institution that has some public interest in mind, or just to provide basically news. Like an example of it would be maybe BBC got a website for news, information, kind of thing like that. Then you also have educational website. These are maybe for education purpose. The schools got a website and a portal combined where students can log in and even learn from them. And then we have personal website. Personal website are for maybe people, influential people, and kind of brands that you want to have an online presence. Maybe let's take for example, George Weah, who's the president of Liberia, wants to have a website so that people can go and hear about him. So that could be a personal website, right? The next thing I want to talk about, we have to complete this thing so we can go to writing it over here today. The next thing I want to talk about is what a URL is, right? A URL technically is Uniform Resource Locator, and it is the address that you use for your website, right? So basically, when you want to tell somebody about how to find your website, right, it is the address that you give them. And in your URL, it includes the domain. So one of the things that if you want to ever build a site, right, one of the things that you need to understand is that you will need two things. You need hosting, you need domain. And the hosting can be, you can self-host your site, meaning if you have the infrastructure, if you have the financial capability, right? You can buy your own servers, you can dedicated machines where you set aside a server, make sure that they are current, they are internet 24 hours, and people can access the resources from it online, right? You put up a particular computer online and people can access resources, that's a server. Or better still, you want to have a third-party hosting. A third-party hosting is basically where you go online, maybe to GoDaddy, Namecheap, some hosting companies, and then you buy a space, right? You say, hey, I want to host, I got a file, I want to host it. I do not have the capacity to host it on a computer yet to where I am, but I want you to host it for me. It's you can host it, but you have to pay SYC, then you pay it annually and you host it. That's the same way with the domain. So two of the things that you consider when you want to build a website is hosting and domain, right? So within the URL, it has this particular stuff where you got the first section of the URL, the HTTP or the HTTPS, right, is the protocol. And the best way I can explain this to beginner is this, right? The protocol is usually the channel through which communication travel on the internet. So for example, if you were going to networking, there are different kind of protocol for different layers. But when we're talking about web design, right, at the application layer, the protocol there for browser is HTTP, right? So that's why you see every website that you go to, you always see that HTTP or HTTPS, right, at the beginning of it, because that's the protocol for communication. The best way I can say, almost like a car, And I was giving this example. Understand that maybe you're going to be flying from here going to China, right? And you can't fly in the air. Like you start doing it now, everybody will get scared. They say, oh, they may have TV, right? So you need to actually fly with a plane. So in the case, let's consider HTTP to be the plane that we use to travel from Liberia to China, right? And then we get to the domain. And the good thing about that domain is that the domain is primarily like, let's say China, and you're going to a particular state in Beijing, and you're going to a particular place in Beijing and a particular community. So they always start with, the domain always start with www. the website address / right? So if the website address is tit.org, for example, right? So it's www.tit.org. In other words, the way I can explain this is like, I have to be talking about go on the World Wide Web or use a plane, go on the World Wide Web, and you will find a particular community called tit.org, right? It's kind of confusing, but yeah, tit.org. So to relate it to our plane scenario, go get in plane from Liberia, get to China. When you get to China, reach in Beijing, or go to Beijing. When you get to Beijing, there is a specific apartment or there is a specific host. You will meet XYZ person within our host, right? So that's just the concept of the URL. Like the internet is big, but you use the HTTP protocol to communicate on the internet, which is the World Wide Web, the www. And on the internet, there's a particular file called maybe tit.com. Within our folder, right, there are specific files. Point me to this particular file and load that file for me. That's how you enter a URL, and the URL load the files for you, right? So primarily, you can have the conversation, you can research on it better, or maybe you can reach out to Orlando or me later, and I can explain it further. But this is just, the URL is just like an address, like you giving your direction to somebody, and maybe a year and you in China, and you have to tell me, say, you have to give me your full address so that I can come there, right? That's the same way the files that we have on the internet can have a full address. And these addresses are unique to just that file, meaning another file cannot have that same address. It's just for that file. That's why we say uniform resource locator. And then lastly, or quickly, right, I talk about common web elements. So some of the common things you're going to see on the web, that text, that graphics, that multimedia, and basically you're going to see hyperlinks. So hyperlinks are the links that we can click on to come from one part of our document to another part of our document, right? So you're going to see people adding text to your web page. You're going to see people adding graphics. You're going to see people adding multimedia content, and you're going to see people adding links to your graphics, right? So these are just some of the elements we're going to work with, right? Now, how do you build a website, or what are the tools that you use to build a website when you're building a static site? I'm speaking from a front-end development perspective. Like I said, I'm a front-end developer, so I'm speaking from that perspective, right? Primarily, when you want to build a site using maybe HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, right? You will primarily need two things. One thing you need is a browser. So you will need a browser. Why you need a browser? Because the browser will be the one executing the code, right? So the browser will be there executing the code for you. So you will need a browser. And when you have a browser, primarily that's just software that on the computer. All of us not used browser before. And then you also need a code editor, or what we call a text editor, right? I mentioned the two of them because I don't want you to see it the other way on the internet. You say, oh, the last time they meant last word, they meant to say the quality. So it's actually a co-editor, and that co-editor is just a piece of software that we use to write our code. So within that code editor, we can write whatever we want for the web page, right? We write the code there and then execute it within the browser. So the browser actually gives us the file style A. The code editor will take your maybe text. That's the text that we'll be writing to generate the code, right? So these are the two things we need. And for this particular presentation, we have selected two different co-editors to use. I recommended to Orlando that we use Visual Studio Code. For those of you who got computer, they got a mobile version for Visual Studio Code. Or you use Spark Co-Editor, right? For those of you who are using phone, you can use Spark Co-Editor, SPCK Co-Editor, yeah. You can use Spark Co-Editor for just the basic demonstration we're going to be doing. And 1 minute, please. You say you hear me?
Yes, we
Hello.
can hear you. We can hear you.
Somebody speak. Yeah, because I don't want to go offline again. So Orlando, how many minutes I still have? Can I know?
Let's work in 30.
Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk about, in this particular presentation, we're going to talk about 3 basic languages, because they are the main languages that you use as a front-end developer. But in our demonstration, we're going to talk about 2, right? We're going to just basically run through 2 for the end, right? So 1 is HTML. I mentioned it several times during my presentation. So what is it? HTML just means hypertext markup language. So it's an acronym that means hypertext markup language. And this is the language that you basically going to be using. It's not the only language people use to build websites or web pages, but it is the most widely used language people use to build web pages, right? So HTML structure the web page. HTML say, you know what I mean? They test, we get heading here, we get paragraph here, we get table here, we get list here, we get hyperlink here. So everything that has to do with the structure, right? It goes to HTML. Like if you want a heading, you're going to be talking about HTML. When you want a paragraph, you're going to be talking about HTML. The next kind of language that we'll also use here is CSS. So CSS means cascading style sheet, right? Cascading style sheet. And what CSS does is that it creates the style for the website. So when you build an HTML site, it is not supposed to be too fun. Like they're not kind of too fun, right? Like that basic text, maybe the images you are like. If you want to now, you can start using CSS. A beginner is that let's consider building a house. When we start talking about putting the wall up, putting the structure up, the ceiling, everything, roofing it, everything, that's just HTML. But when we start beautifying it, like furnishing it, painting it, trying to pull putty and things, then you actually add CSS to it, right? Now, JavaScript add interactivity to your website, right? For example, maybe sometimes you go on a website and you are asked a question like put in your age, right? You put in your age and you do a calculation and tell you that, okay, or tell you, say what year you were born, and you put in the year you were born, and you tell you that, hey, you were born 2000, it means that you're 23 years of age, right? Those are interactivities that you observe on your site. Hello? Somebody still getting me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, I hope it's annoying though, but I just have to find out before I be talking to myself. So JavaScript basically provides dynamics updates, it provides interactivities for your website, right? So the way in which it comes in handy with the example I was giving about building house. So when you build a house using HTML, when you put a structure down using HTML, you furnish it using CSS. Now, maybe you want to put a tool that when you come in, like they got a class tool, once you come into it, it opens by itself, right? So it interacts based on your movement. Those are just simple as best example if you were using JavaScript to an example of a post, right? That's just the kind of concept. So when you're building site, you build site with all these languages, or maybe 2 of it, right? So when you're building site, you will need HTML that will structure the site. You will need CSS that will beautify or that will start the site, and you will need JavaScript if you want to add interactivity to your website. Now, I will slow down here a little bit, and we will just go to our code editor and write a basic HTML file and name that HTML file text.html. Hello. So let's go. I hope you will do it along with me. It will not be me alone doing it. Yeah. So usually when you open your code editor, when you work with Visual Studio Code, right? You open your code editor, this is how it's supposed to be. Or maybe less if you just install it newly, right?
No.
So
Philip, the screen is paused. I don't know. Can you try to reshare the
okay, so I think I come here, let me try to do it. I think the current screen I'm working is not shared. You see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so when you're working with Visual Studio Code, every time you log, when you install it and open it for the first time, you're supposed to have a screen like this that tell you get started. Primarily, you want to create a new file, and I'm going to tell you the best approach you can use, right? So anytime you get a website, that folder that on the internet, so they understand folder as in folder, the folder you've been working in. So when you're working with your website, you want to create a folder that you're going to use for that particular work, right? That when you start developing, the first thing you want to do is you want to create a folder, right? That you'll be working within. So you could select a new file or you could select a folder that you will work within. So on my desktop, I will just come and create a new folder, and I'll give this new folder, I will call it text, right? I'll call this new folder text. And then I will open this folder. So when I open this folder, the folder becomes my working folder. My working folder, because this is if I was to upload this site, right? If I was to say, hey, we are uploading this site to the internet, right? This is the folder that we're going to be uploading. Text folder, right? We're going to be uploading it. Now, in Visual Studio Code, and even in the Spark code editor that I recommended, you're going to see something like this at the left, right? On the left hand, you're going to see something like this. And once you select a folder, it's going to come like this. So let me make my screen wide. It's going to come like this, right? And you're going to see options up here where you can file like normal computer applications that you install, right? Part of it is that you can come to file and create a new file, or you just see the plus sign here. I like to make things easy. Maybe, yeah. So the plus sign here is for creating new file, right? So you click on this plus sign, and we will call this file, according to our slide, we call this file text.html, right? Let me say one thing. HTML files I carry the extension HTML. I can explain to people on a particular call or in a particular conference or already got the kind of technology. So that files or the way the computer understands different files, right, is by extension that you add to that file. In other words, if you were with a Microsoft Word file, right, or Microsoft Word file, the way to go on is with the OWCC extension, right? So similarly, if you have an HTML file, you should be working with the .html extension. If you're working with CSS file, you should have the CSS extension. If you're working with JavaScript, you have JS extension for each kind of file you're going to be working with. So in our case, working with HTML file. So we select we go text.html and hit enter. Right? Now, when we select text.html and hit enter, according to the HTML language, which the web people created when we use it, right? I was not the one that created it. According to the HTML language, the very first thing you do when you're writing HTML code is to write what we call a declaration block, right? And the declaration block in a sense is basically like introducing the version of HTML you're going to be writing. For example, we should say .def HTML like this, right? Sorry, like this. When we say .def HTML like this, right? We actually telling the browser in other words, because I'm saying browser because that the browser will execute a particular code right here. That not the code editor was executed, it's the browser that will execute it. So we're telling the browser in other sense that this is HTML version 5. Right? We are writing HTML version 5. In other sense. So the browser understands, okay, we're going to be writing HTML version 5. Now, we go now to start writing our actual HTML document. Because this part was not part of our HTML document. It was the HTML document coming after, right? Let me say it that way. So to write HTML, you need to understand a few things. There's a concept about something we call tag, right? Tag is spelled as T-A-G-E, like tag, like the tag you can see on the items in the supermarket, right? So these tags are actually written in angle bracket. Like for example, we write a tag like this, right? These are tags. This part, the part that is up here, we call it the opening tag. The part that is down here, we call it the closing tag, right? So, I hope I'm not saying something that I not get time to. So the first thing is, once you tell the browser a particular version of HTML you're going to be writing, the second thing you do is tell the browser where your HTML starts from. So somebody will say, or some resources you visit on the internet will say, every HTML document starts with HTML and ends with HTML. In other words, every HTML document starts with an opening HTML tag, and a closing HTML tag. So the opening HTML tag and the closing HTML tag tell the browser that this is my HTML document, or this is between here, right? Everything that goes here falls within my HTML document. Then the second thing is that the rules also says every HTML document has two parts. It has a head, a head, and a body. So the head section here will carry important information that are basically considered as instructions to the browser. The body section will carry the content. So in other words, when you visit a website, right, the information that you read there are placed within the body, and then the information that will be in the corner to make the website very beautiful, right, is placed within the head section. So some of the information that goes within the head section, for example, for simple example, is the title, right? Usually in the tab there, that you can see a small picture at the top of the browser. You can see a small picture with a writing there, right? That writing is for the title, or the writing is what the developer put within the title, or let me say place within the title, right? So I'll give my title, I'll say first HTML document, right? And then comes within the body and start to write my actual content. This site should be very, very basic. Like it's not complex, right? It could get complex if we have more time, but it's very, very basic. Now we have the title and we go back to having the body section here, right? So like I said, the body section is where you have the content. So one thing you can do for me is to save your work. It's already been saved. Save it again. When you save your work, go to, I have to share, I think share my screen. So I can just share the entire desktop right here. So when you save your work, go to the folder where you save it in. Go to the folder you save it in. This is the folder for me. This is the folder I save it in. So I go back to the folder here and I see the file that I created with Visual Studio Code. Open the file, double click on the file. And this is the file, plain, right? But at the top of the file, I see a text that says first HTML document, right? At the top of the file, I see a text that says first HTML document. So it means that the title is here, but nothing is within this file as of now. So I go back to my HTML document here, and then I write, Orlando, if my time finish, you must signal me. I can talk plenty. So I write
10 minutes, 10 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. So I write the heading, right? So I say H1, I write H1 tag, and say, maybe H1 say, hello, world. I say, hello. And then I go and write a paragraph text, because if you obviously have a heading text, you need to have a paragraph text, and the paragraph text can be anything. So I will just write anything there. And sorry, save. I write this text here, save, and come here and refresh, and this is the text. So primarily, this is how you create an HTML document, and then you can apply style to it, like you can apply CSS style to it. For example, we can come and say style here. Again, because of time, we can do it. So say style, and you can add style by saying color, and then you can select a particular color. Maybe you want a brown color, brown, red, or blue. You want a blue color, you can select a blue color here, go here, refresh your page again, and you get a blue color here. So the CSS can actually do the starting, the HTML will add the actual text there, and so forth. So now let me just conclude, because they say I get 10 more minutes. But if you got time, you can reach out and we can talk about this more, right? So, one, if you got any question, you can ask.
Okay, so guys on Zoom, and guys on Tencent Evolve meeting, if you have any question from the presentation, ladies and gentlemen, just begin to send your thank you messages, emojis, and everything to our speaker. You can see it's because of time, so if not because of time, you will actually get a lot of things today, but we have to make sure we finish at least before 10 o'clock. So if you have any question, please send your question in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation, Philip. My question has to do with whether a site can be both dynamic and static at the same time.
Component of the site can be static, and component of the site can be dynamic. And I will try to put it this way, right? Most times, it is not the same site. Sometimes it is the same site, right? When I say component of it, it could be, maybe you got a website, like for my school website, right? I just give you any kind of example of school website, right? You have portion of the site that provide basic information about the school, right? Maybe when the school was founded, the different programs the school offer. That portion is static, right? Like if anybody go there, you wanted to read that same information, right? But you can also have a link somewhere there that says e-portal. When the person click on the e-portal, it takes them to a whole different page that asks them to maybe log in. And when they log in, the information you see on your e-portal will not be similar to the information I will see on my e-portal. I hope I'm making sense, right? So It can be, a site can be completely dynamic. A site 2, on the other hand, can be just static site. And a site can be, component of the site can be dynamic, while some components be static. I know, but I think I know what I answer your question, but I think it makes sense to me.
Okay,
so
can I ask one question?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, to the speaker, can you use dynamic code on static site? Dynamic site code on static.
When you, okay, so if I understood your question well, you are saying whether you can use code, right?
The code.
From my experience, what I know and what I think is that when you write a dynamic code on a static site, right? Let's say maybe you wrote a PHP code within your HTML website, right? And it will let you know it. Especially when you, so it will innovate, but if you are using especially when the file is not saved as a PHP file, right? So it will innovate, or it will see it as a content. It will treat it as a content. By saying a content, I mean like it will display it to the user. Like you saying in other words, instead of executing the code, it will actually display it to people and say, hey, this test is about this, right? So for example, if you got a maybe tutorial site, right, where you talking about you teaching people, or people go and read about certain language, right? Or maybe PHP, and you embed a PHP code in it, you're not recognizing that because you already told the browser that this particular stuff is an HTML website. So I'm just saying that if, from what I think, it will innovate. So when you write a dynamic code within a static site, it will also say innovate. Like it will just treat it as a normal content.
Okay, so there's a question here from Henrietta. She said, it is possible to save a document or for the HTML file to be displayed without saving it as .html?
If you save it as .html, right? Some browsers are smart to understand that I mean, like maybe you were rushing and you didn't save it as .html. Some browsers will understand it the same and equate it to .html. If you save it, if you didn't save it as .html, right? It will open in Notepad because it will open it now as a text file. Normally, what happens is that when you're working with these kind of documents and you didn't save it, it doesn't have any kind of format. So it is either treated as a text file, like you open straight in Notepad, or maybe text pad when you're using Mac, or Notepad for those of us that will be using Windows. So it just opens as a raw text, and we're not opening the browser. Because the only format the browser needs to understand if you're working with HTML is a format that the browser already knows, right? So in the browser, the browser know that when you say .html, it means that the format that's supposed to open the browser, that means that file is supposed to be open with the browser. Similarly, if you save a Microsoft Word document and you didn't add the extension to it .docx, you're not expected to open in Microsoft Word. It can open in, maybe it can get common Notepad, because Notepad can open every file. Even if you want to open your image in Notepad, your image will open in Notepad, but in the text, you see that the raw text, you just see the printed bulk of text around the stuff. So that's it. But when you save it, maybe like .html, right? Some browsers will understand and equate it to .html and maybe think that you are rushing.
All right, so let's take the last question from Zoom. There's a question here from Joseph J. Dolo. He's asking, how can a domain be generated? I think it was a slide that you have where you have the domain, you have the protocol. So he's asking, how can a domain be generated?
So Joseph, usually we buy domain, right? I know what I get a meaning to demonstrate that. If I can get a meaning, I can demonstrate that. So usually we buy domain, right? Like if you come to this site, I'm not in any way trying to There are plenty of domain registry, right? These are institutions that are granted the right to sell out domain, right? So domains are not actually generated. I don't understand your context of generated. Maybe your context was generated, how you decide a name, but you usually decide a name based on the institution. So if I'm working with Innovation Hub and we want to have our domain, we obviously want to have a domain like our Innovation Hub or maybe something related to Innovation Hub. However, if I'm working with Innovation Hub, I will obviously come to type Innovation Hub here. So I can type Innovation Hub, and then I say innovationhub.com and check if it is available. If it is available, I don't know whether you're seeing my computer screen, but if
we can see
the domain registry will check on the internet to see if that particular domain name, right, is available. So it tells you that, hey, this Innovation Hub is available at this price, right? But different domain names. So the first thing is, if you decide to buy a domain name, the very first thing you need to do is go on the internet, search if that domain name is available. And if you want to form a company, it is even important that you also check if that particular company domain name is available. Because if not, you're going to be adding extra characters or extra letters to your domain name so that it can be available for you to buy. So for example, if Innovation Hub is not available, we have to say innovationhub.com, right? So our extra character, the LRB, to that particular Innovation Hub. So that's how you get it. So you acquire a domain by buying them.
Okay, so thank you so much, Philip. It was nice having you today. Thank you so much. We hope that we can have you again in the future for another exclusive time. We know you wanted to do more, but the time was not really given. So thank you so much for being here today. And we just like to bid you a goodbye. Thanks once more. I think our people in the chat box have already given you the thank you messages as well. But I'll also reach out to you again. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you guys, and I think I will leave.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking our attendance for today. You can just turn on your video so that we do our attendance as quick as possible, and then we can call it a day. Tomorrow, web development, Melvin team already ready for their presentation tomorrow. So tomorrow we start the presentation. She always unmuting herself. I don't know what she's going to talk.
Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Can you please send me my attendance statistic, please?
We send every day in the group, so just check the group. You will see it there.
Like maybe it's only the name record, but I want to know like how many times I've attended for, like the hours and stuff. Like you were showing before the.
Okay, just wait. Let me finish this attendance thing because people data finishing. So.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just do this quickly. I'm coming. All right, so I'm taking the first screen in 3, 2, 1. Oh, this meeting. Get it quickly. So thank you so much for being here with us. Tomorrow we just call it a day with the presentation. Let me get the next screen. You don't know which screen you are on, so just stay. So tomorrow people will start presenting. If your group is not ready, make sure you guys work overnight tonight, or the group leader, who said I will be the group leader, you can take that responsibility to do the research and design the PPT and just share with the group. Gentlemen, this is a lot of fun for us, so somebody can just take from slide 1 to slide 4. Somebody can just take this one, yeah, assign it to them. Nobody available, you can just present on behalf of the team, but make sure you have the team member name in your PPT. So I think we are good to go for the attendance today. I'm going to end the recording here on Tencent. Now